Hello friends, welcome to my channel. Today is the 29th day for our Palo Alto firewall training series and we are going to continue our VPN topic, and today we are going to talk about the overlapping of VPN network. So let's suppose what exactly a overlapping that I'm going to discuss in this video, as well as what are the solutions that are available, how to configure those solutions. With every detailed manner I'll be explaining in this video. So I'll request you to please watch this video till the end so that you can understand what is overlapping network, what are the solutions are available and how it works. And also I'll request you to please subscribe my channel and hit the bell icon so that you never miss a video from me. So without any further delay, let's get started. So friends, first of all we'll try and understand what is overlapping network. So basically a scenario wherein you have same kind of subnets. So let's suppose there is a site which has a subnet of 192.168.10.0/24, okay, and it is connected to a Palo Alto firewall. Palo Alto firewall is connected to internet. Again we have another site where we have Palo Alto firewall again, and here we have network of 192.168.10.0/24. So in which scenario this can happen? This can happen in two scenarios. First scenario, let's say you are outsourcing some work to your partner. Maybe you are a mechanical company, okay, and you have some software development, okay, so you can outsource your software development department to another organization. They will be able to do it, okay. So once you outsource it, they have the same network and you have to build a site-to-site network. In this case it can happen. The second scenario is, so in a case wherein your company have acquired a new company. So let's say your company is company A and he bought a new company which is named as company B. So in that case, if they are using the same subnet, that also will have a overlapping issue. So what is the solution of it? Now we'll talk about that. So friends, as we have seen, there may be two reasons. First is outsourcing. So one company is outsourcing their some department to another organization and they are managing. So in that case they can have a same subnet, as well as in case if they are acquiring any new company. So in that case also they may have same subnet as well. So they can come up with this overlapping issue. So what exactly the solution for that? So the solution is NAT. So what we can do is we can NAT this IP address to let's say 20.0/24 and as well as 192.168.40.0/24. So in this case what happens is they will be having a different subnet. So what we are doing is we are doing NAT to the both side and we will be able to communicate to each other because now the IP address has changed. Now there is another option where you don't have any feature of doing policy NAT on another site. In that case what happens is you have to do twice NAT on site 1. Then you will be able to communicate. What is needed is the policy NAT is needed for both the sites, as well as for single site you need policy NAT, as well as you need twice NAT. So now friends, we'll move on to the practical and we'll try and understand how the configuration will be, and step by step I will be explaining you guys that what would be the source, what would be the destination, and every hop how it will get changed, so that you guys will be able to understand. Okay. So friends, first of all we'll try and understand that company A has acquired company B. As you can see, both have the same private subnets. So in that case, what we are going to do is we'll be doing a NAT for both the sites. So the NAT for site A or the company A would be 1.1.0/24, and for company B it will be 100.1.2.0/24, so that they will be able to communicate. Now we need to understand how the traffic flow will be, so that when we configure we should be clear enough to understand. So step number 1, when the PC initiates the traffic, that time the source would be 10.1.1.0. Okay. So friends, now I'll be explaining you step by step for every hop what would be the source and the destination, where the IP is getting changed, so that during the configuration time you guys will be clear enough to understand why we are configuring this NAT and all those things. Okay. So once the PC initiates the traffic, the source would be 10.1.1.1. Okay, and the destination would be the NAT IP, right? We cannot access this IP directly. Okay, so we'll be accessing, let's say, 100.1.1.1. The traffic reaches to Palo Alto firewall. Now what Palo Alto firewall does is it does a source NAT. The source will get changed from 10.1.1.2 to 100.1.1.1, and the destination will remain as it is 1.2.1. Okay. After that there is a VPN that is getting built over this. So this header will get encrypted and there will be a new header that's get added. So the information now, the source will be 200.1.1.2. Okay, this will be the source, and the destination would be 201.1.1.2. This traffic reaches over here. Now here the traffic will, the Palo Alto will decrypt the traffic and he will get the IP address as source as 100.1.1.1, and the destination would be 100.1.1.1. Now here the destination will get NATed. Okay, so this will become as 10.1.2.1. Okay, so this is getting NATed. Now this information reaches to PC2. Now PC2 will reply this packet. The source would be 10.1.2.1 and the destination will be 100.1.1.1, right? Now again it will get reached to Palo Alto firewall. The same thing will get happen. Okay, so I will just rub this out and again I'll explain how the return traffic will be. So now friends, this traffic will reach to Palo Alto, and then the source will get natted. So how it will get natted? It will be 100.1.2.1 and the destination would be 100.1.1.1. okay. As this will go via VPN, this will be encrypted and the new IP header will get attached. Now the source will be 201.1.1. okay, it's 2. This will be the source and the destination will be 200.1.1.2. okay. This will hit this Palo Alto and then it will decrypt the traffic and then this IP will get retrieved. So the source will be 100.1.2.1 and the destination will be 100.1.1.1. okay. Now here the destination NAT will get performed and it will get changed to 10.1.1.1 and this traffic reaches over here. Now as you can see, the same traffic is getting returned. So the PC will accept the traffic and he will process the traffic. So this is how the communication will happen. If you are not able to understand, let's say if you have confusion, you just write down all the source and destination for each hop, like when the traffic initiates from here and coming back from this side to this side, you just type the source and destination hop by hop, then you will be able to understand. This is how I understand. Okay. So I also recommend you to do the same if you are able to. Guys, I want to mention one more thing. The destination would be 10.1.2.1 because we are natting to 100.1.2.0. That is the reason it will be 2.1. I have written 1.1. okay. So one more question that I wanted to answer in this video, that even I was thinking the same. What? Because let's suppose the company B has let's say one building and they have like floor 1, floor 2 and floor 3. okay. Even this will have, let's say, 3. So floor 1, floor 2 and floor 3. So they have like employees, printers, wireless access points. So a lot of things are there. So we cannot do a static mapping for all those devices, right? Even for site 2 as well. Each and every static mapping we cannot do. So once you perform policy NAT, okay, what I'm trying to say over here, let's say 192.168.10.0/24. So 1 will be assigned to let's say employee 1, 2 is assigned to employee 2, 10 is assigned to printer. So when we NAT this range to let's say 10.1.1.0/24, now 10.1.1.1 will be for employee 1, 10.1.1.2 for employee 2, for 1.10 it is for printer. So same IP will get mapped to same NATed IP address. Okay. So there is no problem in this. The thing is we have to do a policy NAT. I'll show you during the practical. Okay. And if you have any other confusion or something, you can just get in touch with me. Maybe you can ping me on Facebook, or maybe you can ping me on Instagram, or maybe you can reach via email as well. So friends, now we'll try and access the lab. as I have already configured site-to-site VPN, and if you want to see in the details, you can just click on the I button, will get reflect over here on the right corner of the video, or you can find in the description. Okay, so we'll access the Palo Alto Firewall 1. Okay, and the first thing that we are going to configure is the access policy. Okay, so the first step, I'll just write it over here. So the first thing is rule configuration. Okay, so I'll just drop this off now, as of now, and then we'll go to the console. Okay, now as we have already added a site-to-site VPN rule to allow the IE traffics and all. Okay, now this one is for tunnel traffic. So site 1 to site 2, right? Now the source will be, the zone will be inside, right? And inside will be having the IP address 10.1.1.0/24, right? Now the destination will be outside, and it will be the NAT-T IP. It will not be a real IP. So NAT-T will be 100.1.2.0/24, right? And we just allow all, as we just need to understand the concept. So as this is saying existed, so I guess the name is same, that is the reason it's saying. So I'll just mention as VPN out. Okay, now we'll create another policy to allow the outside connection. So it will be VPN in. Now the source will be outside. Now the source address will be the NAT-T one. Okay, so 100.1.2.0/24. Okay, and the destination will be outside. It will be inside, not outside, and they will be accessing the NAT-T IP address. They will not be accessing the original IP address. So it will be 100.1.1.0/24, right? Okay, so we are done with the access policy, or you can say access list, or we can say policy, whatever it is. So we are done with that. Now number 2 is we have to configure route. So as we are NATing to this network, and this network is not available anywhere, Palo Alto will not be able to understand what to do with this. So we have to configure or we can just advertise that this route. Okay, so what we have to do is we'll just go to the console again. We'll just rub this off and we'll go to console again. Go to network. Go to virtual routes. Go to the default one, as I am using default one. If you guys are using different virtual router, you need to configure over there. Go to static routes, add. You can just name anything, but as for our convenience, we are just writing as a NAT. And the address would be 100.1.1.0/24. The interface will be our inside interface 101. I will just show you that 101 is inside 101. Okay, and this will be none. Okay, and we have to configure one more static route that is pointing to outside, like their NAT network. So that is 10.1.2.0 via tunnel, that I have already showed in that video, so you can just have a look on that. Yeah, click OK. So we are done with the routing part as well. Now we have to go and configure NAT policy. Now the third thing is NAT rules that we need to configure. So we'll just move on to the console of the device and we'll go to policy and we'll go to NAT. Now NAT is little complicated over here, so you have to be very clear and I'll explain you each and every step. So the first NAT policy would be a static NAT. And static means the source static NAT. So we'll just configure as site 1 to site 2, right? Now the original traffic will be initiating from inside going to outside, right? Now here we have to define the source. The source is 10.1.1.0/24. Fine, this is our network and the destination will be their NATed IP address, the NATed one. So we are going to access 100.1.2.0/24, right? Now the source will get static IP address. So the now static IP address is 100.1.1.0/24, right? And we are just enabling the bidirectional so that all the users can send and receive the traffic, like the other side can also initiate and the side one can respond to that. That is the reason I'm just turning on the bidirectional. So the first is static NAT, the source and the destination, and it is getting NATed to 100.1.1 and we are reaching to 100.1.2.0, right? So now we have to create one more NAT entry that should allow the return traffic. Now I'll show you how we can configure that. So from site 2 to site 1, right? So the original packet will be coming from outside, right? Now it will hit our inside zone. We'll leave the source address as blank and in destination address what they are going to access. Okay, so they are going to access 100.1.1.0, right, /24. Now this is our destination. This is not a source because it is a return traffic. Now that traffic will get translated to 10.1.1.0/24. Okay. So the traffic has statically NATed to 100.1.1.0. When the traffic returns, it will be 100.1.1.0 because the source NAT is performed by Palo Alto. Now when the return traffic comes and hit the Palo Alto again NAT this IP address to 10.1.1. so that it can reach to PC. So now what we will do is we'll test the connection whether it is working or not. So now if we go to the IPsec tunnels, now we'll see that the local IP is 200 and 201 is the peer IP. The tunnel is down right now. Okay, So I'll just show you. This is 200 and 201. So they are right down, right now they are down. So we'll go to the PC1 and we'll see it is configured as 10.1.1.2, and we'll try to reach PC2. What would be the IP address for PC2 here? Okay, the IP address of the PC2 will be 10.1.1.2. okay, now we'll go to command prompt and we are going to ping 100.1.2. Sorry, it is 2, right? We'll just try to see. Okay, so we will be pinging this one. Now if we see the status, if we go to the console, now we can see the tunnel is up right now, and we'll see whether we are able to. So we are getting response as well. So this means that we are pinging PC1. From PC1 we are able to ping PC2. Okay, so this is one of the complex scenario that you will be seeing in the industry. So I'll recommend you to please write down all this hops, hop by hop, what would be the source and destination, so that you can understand and deploy this kind of things in your network. Okay, so this is what I wanted to cover in this video. If you have any suggestion regarding my video, you can do a comment on this video. You can send me a mail, you can chat on Facebook, you can just send me text on Instagram as well. All those social media account link is already there in the description. If you find it helpful, please give it a like or do me a comment as well. And also I'll request you to please subscribe my channel and hit the bell icon so that you never miss a video from me. So signing off, and I'll meet you in the next video with a lot of interesting in-depth videos. Thank you so much for watching.